G'day everybody and welcome back to the Hardball Gets AFL show. This podcast is proudly brought to you by the Mazda BT50. You do ute. Today on the show we've got the 6 points in the middle of the bye rounds. If you haven't subscribed to the show wherever you listen to your podcast, please do that. Leave us a rating, leave us a review, tell your mates. All right, let's get stuck in. This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name's Nick Rynne, joined by Xavier Ellis and Chris Robinson.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on?
How are we doing?
You haven't been here for a while, Robbo.
I haven't. My 3-year-old got RSV, then my wife got RSV, then I got RSV. And if you don't know what RSV is, you're very lucky.
Insurance agency, isn't it?
Respiratory vascular
something virus
syndrome.
Yeah, something virus.
I think it's respiratory vascular syndrome.
Is it?
No.
Oh, I
Uh,
don't know.
It's respiratory something virus, but it...
Oh, RSV. I thought
Yeah,
it was
RSV, no. But it's not pleasant, and there you go. How do you say that word, producer Kate?
I did med science in year 10, if that
something
helps.
like that, psychosomatic. Anyway, don't recommend it. Swept through our house for a good week and a half all up, and fun times were had by all. But I'm back, and I really enjoyed listening to you guys on Monday, and the podcast that tries to appeal to the common man, and then Ryan just spends the first 5 minutes talking about his private shower.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Downstairs.
So we can all vote that Ryan's a dick, yeah?
Yeah, he's moved on. He started, he was a normal bloke
You know
when
what
we started
you know what I call him on radio?
What's that?
The Taddy. When we got our hands on him, he was this tiny little tadpole swimming in this little dirty pond. Now he's grown into a little frog. But he's still only a little frog. Don't worry about that. He thinks he's a big... he's not. Anyway, that's my point. Hey, we've got to get this done. I've got to go home and have a sleep.
Everyone thinks you're a big dog until Ben Cousins parks in your car.
Yeah. And then you wander off like a frightened cat.
What do you say? You got to have a sleep, mate. You got no
Big
kids or
night
anyone at
tonight.
home? Oh,
Big night tonight.
what's going on?
Heading to the local Chinese. Me and Em's
What?
grandparents.
Oh, yeah?
It's an over-80s dinner.
Oh.
Me, the O'Connells,
But isn't that
Fred Kersley.
But isn't that going to start at like 4:30?
No, 6 o'clock kick-off.
6 o'clock kickoff.
6 o'clock kickoff.
That's a late over.
I can't wait. The group that they'll be with will be absolute rippers too. I won't get a word in. I'll just sit back. I love it. I remember going to Pam O'Connell's, so the grandmother's 80th when I first moved over. And there's a lot of... I just moved over to Perth, a lot of questions about West Coast, and I was like, fuck, I'm pretty much done with talking footy. And Em goes, have you ever asked about their footy careers? And it was like... Brownlow medalist, Brownlow, best and fairest, Sandovers, like a collection of just megastar waffle. I was like, give me some more of this.
Yeah,
by the end, they're like, cut this kid loose.
All right, well, why don't you kick us off then, Robbo? What do you got for us?
I'm kicking us off. All right, let's do it.
Here we go.
I wanted to talk about if I gave you guys a question of the coaches with the most wins of all time, the most AFL, VFL wins of all time, but without reaching a grand final.
Without reaching, okay.
So most wins ever without ever reaching a grand final.
Well, I've got one right on the tip of my tongue.
I've got the top 5 right here. Give me a couple of names and then I'll tell you the order. Who? Kenny, yeah. Rynne, can you think of anyone else?
Longest serving without reaching a grand
They're
final.
all from the AFL era. The top 5 are all from since 1990.
Oh.
So other than Kenny,
Rodney Eade?
Rocket Sydney.
Yeah, it's Sydney made it 96.
Sydney.
Oh, true. That was the only one though, right?
I'll give you a clue. There's 2 current ones right now.
2 current ones. It would have to be Brad Scott.
Brad Scott is one.
I'm winning this.
Yeah. You
another one would have to be...
It's a bit of an asterisk.
Current
one.
An asterisk.
Brett Ratton.
Brett Ratton is correct.
Bang, another one. Give me another sort of a year frame.
Early 2000s is one.
Is Michael Voss one?
Michael Voss is not yet, but he's starting to work his way up the list.
St Kilda coach?
Yep. No St Kilda coaches. There's one who bounced around. There's one who had multiple clubs, and there's one who was just very good at one club
Terry
without
Wallace.
making it. Terry Wallace is the one who bounced around.
That's 4-0.
Yeah, I know.
And what was the last clue?
The last clue is early 2000s, one club coach, one I think just one minor premiership.
One minor premiership.
Couldn't
So
quite get
Essendon,
it
Brisbane,
done in finals.
Port Adelaide won one in that era. Fremantle.
Has 2 first names.
Mark Harvey.
Good guess, but no.
Yeah,
Very blatant 2 first names guy.
First namer. Come on, Rynne.
Pride of South Australia.
Is the pride of South? Neil Craig.
Neil Craig is
Neil
correct.
Craig.
So the list is this.
How long was Neil Craig at Adelaide?
So Neil Craig had
mate.
93 wins.
He had the best team on paper for a couple of years nearly and just couldn't get over that.
Yeah.
hump.
Brett Ratton, 94 wins. Brad Scott's 114 wins. Wallace, 116. Ken Hinkley, 142 wins.
Yeah.
The most ever by a coach, AFL, VFL, without making grand final.
What are the two, like, prelims? He's lost a few prelims by single-digit margins, right?
Well, they nearly got Hawthorn in
yeah. Was that they came late?
14 they nearly
Was that
got
the one where they
Hawthorn.
came up late?
Yeah,
Lost
yeah,
by
freight
5 or
train.
something.
And I think someone played on or smothered by Hodgie. Hodgie did something good.
All blends into one, you know.
Yeah, unusual.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Hodgie did something good. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I remember Hodgie doing something good. On maybe Brett Ebert. There you go. I might have thrown him under the
Brett
bus,
Ebert.
but I really might have got Ebert with something.
But in more recent times,
He's a
getting
player I haven't
absolutely
thought about in a long
slammed by the Bulldogs in that prelim in 2020. What was the Optus year?
Oh,
2021.
yes. It
Bulldogs
was
just
10 goals to
absolutely
zip nearly.
smoking them in that prelim. Just
Those
over
they were not the
before
best
halftime.
prelims. Those two.
No, they were not.
That was where the fight started between the Doggies and Melbourne. Of course, they won
Over
that
the
grand
song.
final.
Oh, yeah.
They were having a few beers in the change rooms over the song.
So the two questions are: Port 10 straight, second on the ladder. What kind of timing are we looking at for Ken, considering they've got the bye after tomorrow night's game against Geelong? And
10-year
secondly,
deal.
if you had to pick two grand finalists right now, is Ken finally breaking that drought?
I think so.
You think they're there?
Home final is a massive up.
But they've lost 3 of their last 5 home finals, Port.
Not with Zach Butters being
No,
the player.
Zach Butters, Rosie
Zach
in
hasn't
the
been
middle.
Zach.
No. I'm trying to find a Lockie Neal stat here about... let me think. Ken Hinkley... We spoke to Koshy when he retired from Sunrise, and I asked him whether Kenny's walking around with a pen in his pocket waiting, and he said we have an agreement together that we will wait to the end of the year.
I would like
I
to
I
see.
think they were waiting till the end of the year.
He said it. So why else would you say it?
Can you imagine when you're still talking about the two grand finalists?
Yeah.
So you see Collingwood, Port Adelaide. Just got to be like a
Imagine
Port Adelaide
playing
win
in
and
the
then
prison
pull out
bath.
the prison
Oh,
bars.
yeah. All the photos are in prison bar tops.
Yeah, you'd
That'd
have
be
to
great.
do it, right?
That'd be
You'd
great.
absolutely
That
have
would
to
be
do
good.
Or they just roll up 10 minutes before the bounce, take
And
off their
wear it.
warm-up stuff, and they're just wearing it, and they just go,
Gun,
this is
this
what we're wearing.
us. Gun,
This is what we're
gun
wearing,
to the head, I'm picking Port Adelaide.
to make it.
Yep. And I'm picking... Well, you have to say Collingwood,
Yeah,
probably.
kind of have to say Collingwood, don't you?
But then
Jeez.
Melbourne beat Collingwood without Clary. I'm taking Clary over to Goey.
Funny that Port Adelaide are the one. I'd be most comfortable saying, yeah, I can see them
Well,
there.
I think because they've got the home
Hard.
advantage.
They
Yeah.
do, but they haven't cashed in on it in the past.
No,
and
I
that's,
know,
That's
I know.
been the almost the legacy of the
But
Hinkley
they
era,
haven't
is that
had
he's
the-
got
this-
wins, and then they haven't been able to cash them in finals at home.
No, they haven't
So-
had this midfield
This is different.
mix. This is a, like... Well, you might as well... It kind of folds into my point of
Yeah,
view.
let's do it. Blow the siren. Let's roll.
So the midfield mix there, Butters, Rosie, and Horn Francis building, but you've got other guys, Ollie Wine still chipping in.
Well, Travis Boak's
Boak's still
exceptional
in there.
after
Yep.
half-time.
Yep.
And I think sometimes, so to beat your point, coaches need to stop overcomplicating things.
Put Travis Boak in the middle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Sydney with John Longmire having Heaney and the Pat man in the centre bounces. Just they're goal kickers, just
Yeah.
playing forward.
Yeah.
It's like Boakey's your insider, just get him in there.
Yeah, and that's it. I think this is the best midfield mix they've had. This is the
Well, it
best-
helps that one's turned into arguably the best player in the competition.
Exactly. And it's funny because you thought like Rosie was trending there and Butters was up and down.
Rosie's
he had
still
the
been good.
traits. Rosie's still been very,
Yeah.
but he hasn't had to be the best player on the ground.
I think what we haven't seen is the recklessness of Butters occasionally.
He's picking his moments.
Well, I reckon in the past he's small. He's a small guy. He'd go that hard at the footy, which he still does. But I don't know. Sam Mitchell one day spoke about pulling out of contests, and he goes, "I don't care what anyone says. Every player pulls out of contests. I don't care. That you act like everyone's tough. Everyone is tough. Playing football, they're tough.
Yeah.
But you got to make the decision. for
Sometimes
yourself.
you've got to make a business decision, right?
And it might be 1 in 100, and maybe he's eliminated that 1 in 100 where he recklessly dives in. I thought he got shit mixed on the weekend, actually, when he jumped up to get the ball and then got, like, in the past...
I remember there was one
in
moment
the
I
past
was
he
like,
would have
ow.
done his shoulder or
Yeah.
something. But apart from that, I haven't really seen him in a reckless situation.
So is he a little bit smarter, and also his
I think
body's
he's
a
bit
little
smarter.
bit
Yeah.
Both, probably.
better placed to quit?
Probably both,
Matured a bit, like he knows when to pick him, when
Yeah,
to go and when not
and we
to
might
go.
be talking out our dot, like
he might, yeah.
like Ernie Dingo brought that phrase back into
Talking out our dot.
talking out his dot regarding the West Coast jumper. But yeah, I just reckon that he's just a different player, and that helps. Like if Connor Rosie wasn't a Brownlow favourite, and Butters was just being Butters in and out of the side injured, we'd be going, Port Adelaide's midfield's no good. Well, all of a sudden, both are fit, both are healthy.
Yeah, and and Rosie has been good, but Butters has jumped him, and Rosie's still been at that level. That's what's making this so exciting to watch. Reason it came up, so I think it was Damien Barrett, I'm not sure if it was a tweet or whatever, tweeted something about like being able to see Butters, Rosie and Horne-Francis getting to like a Brisbane early 2000s, Judd, Cousins, Kerr level midfield. Jake Colvin, who sits across from me and is a Port Adelaide supporter,
he's a nuffy, mate.
Easily was pouring water on it because he's scared, but I can see it.
I can't see it.
You can't see it?
Not to that level.
Those three are pretty
They'd won
exciting.
Brownlows at that age.
But it's also amazing that we're having...
Butters my winner this year, mate.
It's also amazing we're having this conversation almost barely mentioning the guy who won the Brownlow 2 years ago.
Yeah, we're phasing him.
That was one of the
Who's
ones.
part of that mix.
Yeah.
Like, he's really...
Forever a fan of Ollie Wines winning the Brownlow. Thank you, Ollie. The Ollie Wines pool fence is well and truly in place at my house.
No, it's not well and truly in place. It's just
that's shattered. But apart from that...
that's kind of like a... I mean, no disrespect to him, he carved out a good career in the end, but it's like a Woden Brownlow where it's kind of like, oh yeah,
Adam Cooney
had a good year, and Adam Cooney, you don't think of them in the elite class of over a long stretch, but they had a good year.
I've had enough. I've had an absolute gutful. How do you like to rate a player in your own mind when you're sitting there going, I want to do a top 5? Do you look at stats? Do you look to the eye? How do you try and pick your top 5 players if you were to name a top 5 on the spot?
I think stats obviously plays a role. I think the ability to, when the whips are cracking in the fourth quarter, look at what Shea Bolton did last week.
Correct.
When the whips are cracking, is this a guy who is there, or is this a guy who I haven't really seen him much?
So I'll weight goals more.
Okay.
Guys are waiting on goals, but also eye test on defenders.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the Taranto comment about him not being ranked in the top 150 players a month ago.
Yeah.
We've so far polled 12 Brownlow votes since then, or maybe 11, because I'll give Bolton the 3. We've got Nick Martin sitting in the top 10 best players in the competition.
Oof.
I love Nick Martin. He's nowhere near the top 10 player in the competition.
No, he's not.
Nowhere near it.
No, he's not.
And another one
so,
now
sorry,
today.
hang on. Who's top 10 is he in?
In the champion data,
the champion data.
The
Okay.
top 10 players, sorry.
Sure, okay.
So today I'm reading one, and I just almost put my car into the side power pole. I was that just flustered by what I've just heard. Lachie Neale, have a guess where Lachie Neale is ranked in the competition?
I just see it's like 250 something, right?
241st player ranked in the competition.
By champion data?
Lachie Neale. Now, if that's not enough to throw your system in the bin, don't get me wrong, Lachie Neale had 30 touches, 48 marks on the weekend. He hasn't had the best year. He is better than 241 is VFL players at times.
So if you're lining Lachie Neale up to Nick Martin.
Yeah.
Mate, there's 238 players between Nick Martin and Lachie.
If you were picking 10 entire football teams... and you had every player
you wouldn't get to Lachie Neale.
Does anyone want Lachie Neale? Nah.
Tim Taranto gets on the bench in Team 10. Like
that little fella.
Oh, God. I thought I had to touch on that today. It was just how these people are getting ranked by champion data. Whatever the system is, it's Daniel Hoyne who was on the quote was, it's Lachie Neale is the 241st a rated player in the competition. And there's one reason. He's rated 354th a player for in the competition for ball use. Again, so he's not even getting a game. And if he's going to kick a football,
just kick this football there.
No. Imagine going to West Coast and going, Lock, we're just going to do a kicking drill.
Yeah,
we just got the top 20 on the ground this time. You're not in it, so out. Like, come on, what are we doing?
But we're bringing in Aaron Hall because he's just hitting these targets from 16 metres away.
Jack Siebel goes backwards every now and then. You're in. Anyway, blow the hood. I've blown my horn.
Just a very, very early watch. The buy time of the year always fascinates me. Just a very early watch on teams coming immediately off the buy, out of the buy.
Bit of Geelong syndrome.
So we had 4 teams with the buy last week, the week before, who came back and played last week. Brisbane were heavy favourites and got rolled by Hawthorn.
Impressive.
Freo were reasonable favourites, got rolled by Richmond at home. And the other two teams were Sydney and St Kilda, who served up the most sluggish
The worst
slugfest
game,
And Sydney were atrocious.
in
Someone
history.
had to win.
Yeah.
So there's just a little watch on teams coming off the
But
bye.
Geelong
the
hate it, don't they?
That's right. So the two this week, Geelong coming off the bye, who've hated the bye forever, going to Port Adelaide.
This is the data I like.
And the other one is Gold Coast against Carlton. Goodness gracious knows what's going to happen in
The
that
only
game.
thing that no one know, the only thing the bye I think came at a good time for the Gold Coast. 2 wins, which is great, but both in Darwin.
Yeah.
Both energy sapping,
Yeah.
both in the slop.
Yeah.
Like maybe they could have the bye had actually come at a, although they were in winning form, just a week off to
Winning
recover
form.
from running in hot temperatures, humid, wet, sloppy. So
Also,
I'm gonna
Jack
keep it.
McCosh has got to come down from that leather poisoning.
He's not going to 5 a game for the rest of the season.
What are you talking about, mate?
He's now playing for St Mary's Saints.
Yeah,
he's
he's
no
staying.
longer with the Gold Coast.
Specialist.
The biggest deal in Darwin football just went down.
So that's the ones coming with the bye. So watch them coming.
Just
back.
a watch.
That's
just
a
an
good little.
early
That's
watch.
a good little asterisk. I like.
But
it.
also Gold Coast Carlton. How on earth would you know what's happening in that
well,
game?
if I was to
at
have
the
a,
MCG?
if I was to have a bet,
Yeah.
I'd be betting on Gold Coast because I know they're going to have a crack.
and they're
Yeah.
slight underdogs.
but that's
as
the only
well.
that's the only thing you're going to get is they're
And
having
they
a
seem
crack.
they're up and about too. Like there's all that too.
Where's that
It reminds
game
me
at?
the Fremantle Richmond
J or
one.
Dome? I think it's the J. Sorry, it's in Melbourne.
Yeah,
It
G.
is?
Yeah.
The MCG. The Fremantle Richmond too was the first quarter. Fremantle were like just
Yeah.
down on their legs. They didn't
Yeah,
do anything
yeah.
right. And
Well,
then they
Freo
went,
started
okay,
well.
now we go.
First,
The very first few minutes.
10
yeah.
minutes, they had like 8 inside 50s to
True.
1 or something.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
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 Don't worry. My argument's void.
I don't know what you said then. I just did a fake laugh. I don't know what you said. What did
Yeah.
you say?
Save needs a
I
sleep.
said my argument's void.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Save's half asleep already. He's just easing into the nap.
Yeah, mate. What time do you get up for? Ish. No. What time are you on air? What time are you on air and what time do you get in?
3:30.
I just love the prospect. I know you have early starts. I love the prospect of you going to this thing tonight and going, you had a nap, but all the 80-years didn't have a
Yeah,
nap
yeah.
during the day.
Right.
Did you guys have a nap? No, we're good.
Well,
Did you have
when
a nap? Yeah, I had a nap.
When we roll into hippie club, they'll start to get some heavy eyes. Don't worry about that. They'll be going, geez, wish we listened
They'll
to
be
your
going.
advice.
They'll be going to the hippie replacement club.
Oy.
Sorry.
Oh, not bad.
Get going.
Mid-season trade is just I didn't really have a second one, so I just thought, what would those teams who are currently fighting for that last 8 spot, let's say it existed, and they could go and they could pluck someone who's on the fringe or whatever to try and get them over
So
the line.
off an AFL list.
Off an AFL
Yeah.
list. So Adelaide, so let's go through them. Adelaide, Fremantle, Western Bulldogs, Geelong. If they had to pluck someone, so Adelaide, what do they need? Where's one spot they're a bit shallow in that they could get ahead?
All right, here's one for you, obscure. If I'm Adelaide, I'm going to go get Jack Billings.
Okay.
Okay.
Playing off the wing.
Half forward, wing. Like they're doing that nicely, but their forward line is Rankin, Rochelle, Tex, Fogarty, Thriller. There's just that one half forward spot that's left.
Yeah,
Pedler's
okay.
been playing it a bit.
I love
And on the
Pedler. Pedler's
wings,
one of my guys. I
Roy
like him.
Sloane's been out there a little bit more. I don't know. I would aim at a Billings as a bit of a random
Not
one.
a bad shout. Is he? What is he? I haven't even been paying attention.
Injured at the
Billings, is he
moment.
injured at the
Yeah.
moment? It's not unusual, but if
Nah.
he comes back,
There you go. That was just a cheeky one.
I like it. Fremantle. What's the one spot?
Freo, I would be heading towards a... Gee whiz, I'm on the spot here.
You're thinking something for?
Yeah, I'm going Ryan Burton, Port
Yeah.
Adelaide.
As a halfback?
Halfback wing.
Yeah.
Free Ace up, free Clark up. The wing's empty.
The
You got
wing-
you got
the wing
O'Driscoll.
spot is the one.
You got
Yeah.
O'Driscoll out there. So there's one for you, Ryan Burton in the twos.
Don't mind
Alright.
that. Don't mind
You've
that.
got any
How am I
others?
plucking these names from
I know,
reserve
look at
football?
this, mate.
Keep
Strong
going.
waffle VFL
Hit
watcher.
me.
What about Western Bulldogs? Key back?
Another key forward, I reckon. Let's just
Yeah,
get
let's
a
get
few more
another
key
one.
forwards.
Any
Just
ruck
stack them
forwards?
all in there.
I've got one for you.
What do we got?
I'm going Chad Wingard from the Hawks Resies.
Okay. I don't mind
Just
it.
you've got all the tools. You've got Cody Waitman, who's your small. I don't think he's the elite
Can I
small.
say Cody Waitman?
Yeah, I'm sick of it,
It's
Di.
too much, yeah. It's too, like, normally I can handle a little bit of cheese, but this is, like,
Yeah.
inedible.
No, I liked it. I used to love the way he went at the footy. Remember
Yeah.
he dislocated his elbow that time? And
Now
it was
it's
all
like-
Are you talking about the hype, or are you talking about the way?
No, him like, the
Throwing
cheese, he's
himself
putting extra
around.
cheese on the
Yeah.
taco when he's trying to, like...
Yeah,
he's adding
okay.
more than his share of GST.
Yeah.
If it was a sandwich, the level of mayonnaise would be inedible.
You got mayo on it. You got a mayo on the sandwich, but you've forgotten you're adding egg and mayo in itself.
Yeah,
It's a double mayo.
Yeah, it's an egg salad, say, with extra mayo.
With extra mayo.
It's just
Too much.
It's too much, mate.
We really got to stop recording this podcast around lunchtime. We're just getting way too many sandwich analogies.
Out of 10, you like the Wingard out of the twos?
Yeah, that's
I
good.
do like the Wingard out of the twos.
Yeah, you're rolling with these.
Mate.
What's the other club?
And the last one is Geelong.
Geelong, don't know. Can't help them.
They just need help everywhere.
They need injuries.
They don't need a
someone
forward.
in the guts.
Don't-
Paddy Dow. Someone who's not getting a game somewhere else.
Well, they got Danger, Duncan close back this week.
Yeah, Danger and Duncan
Help.
Yeah, and they Guthrie back in there.
Guthrie's another one. Like, they've got the
Guthrie.
players. They're just injured.
Yeah.
But
just for this little stretch to get them over the line, he's probably someone in the middle.
It's midfield, definitely.
Yeah, they just need
because
help.
at the moment it's Max Holmes and Tom Atkins and
certainly
those guys.
midfield. Maybe Jared Lyons.
Jared Lyons.
Oh, yeah, that's
just
a good one.
in.
Just a forgotten man, isn't he? Yeah.
I like it.
That's the best I've ever done.
That's some of your suckiest.
Right. I wanted to quickly chat about the AFL match review system.
Sure.
And then how now it's rolling into the tribunal. Every week, 3 or 4 players. We used to have years where no one would go, not years, weeks and weeks for years and years.
Yeah.
When no one would go to the
like
tribunal.
A few years ago, yeah.
No one would go. Is it time now that there's a complete and utter overhaul where who runs the MRO?
Michael Christian.
Michael Christian goes, I can't grade this. So last night, for example, Sicily goes to the tribunal and gets 3 weeks. Him going to the tribunal meant he had to have a minimum of 3 weeks or get off.
Yeah.
I just would have liked him to go, look, I don't really know. There's conflicting factors. You've got Brockman in there. Kitty Coleman's a bit of a shove. He's unconscious. You have it at the tribunal. If Sicily got 1 week, I would have gone, okay. Yeah, I kind of get it. That let's all call it even and go 1 week is fair.
Yeah.
But it's the fact it's like you're either not guilty with all these tackles
or
that are there's
sin.
so many different factors involved in these tackles that you go, that's unfair that you're either 3 or 0.
Yeah. There's not a lot of wiggle room.
Where's your chance to plead the case? Where do you feel like 3 was a little bit harsh?
Probably.
Totally, yeah.
Would have you thought if they went 1, you go,
that's fine.
You
and,
just cop
and considering his record as well, you go, yep, okay, that's a week.
So, and I thought, last night I thought Mansell wasn't unlucky. I thought it was probably around 3 just because I said on air this morning.
Bump and he hit him.
2 for 1 in the head and 1 for how far the headband went. You get the extra one for flair. But I just feel as though now it's time where Chriso goes, leave me out of this. I'm not even
suggesting
weeks. I can't categorise it so accurately, because there are different factors on was it this level or that level. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here, have it
clean slate at the tribunal.
Let the lawyers go at it and let the player speak. Hear from the concussed player. It just annoys me now that players go in.
Come up with
and
a sentence rather than a check tick by
walking
numbers.
in, going, got 3. You're fighting to get off 3 weeks.
And keep in mind, this is all graded against Cozzy Pickett annihilating someone's head in round 1 or whatever. Was it 2 weeks?
Do you know what? I still look at that bump and think how impressive that force and power that Cozzy could build up to rocket launch himself.
It's genuinely, it popped up in my feed again today. It's laughable
Elon
how bad
Musk
it was.
is studying him to work out how to get his rocket ships to launch like that. Incredible.
Just launched at his head.
Yeah, and that's just my point on the tribunal. I just think that there's now time to eliminate the grading on certain ones and go, look, I think... And if Mansell had just got 3 weeks, I would have gone... Yeah, if Christo's gone 3 weeks for that, I would have gone, save your trip to the tribunal.
That's about right.
You're probably hoping for 2. You've got 3. Stiff shit.
Well, how do you think the footy community, the footy world would react if we had a system like the NBA where it's literally just... And I know it's different and they don't have as many incidents and stuff, but it's literally just the commissioner going, you are suspended for X games.
No.
Depends who it was.
If it's just Gill going, Cozzy, that's 5, I reckon.
But they're getting suspended for waving handguns around, punching...
It's a bit of a different climate.
What about we saw Campbell Brown in there as the man? No one's getting suspended ever.
Still the story, Brownie tells me he was suspended. Might have been his last one he got suspended for. And the lawyers were like, righto, Campbell, you'll leave here. The media are out the front. Make sure you're safe. I'd like to thank the tribunal for a fair hearing. I accept my punishment. And Brownie goes... Fuck that. I've been here 12 times. I've been guilty 12 times. What am I thanking him for? And just walked off.
That the 6?
That's the 6.
All right, let's get into...
Hardball bets. Thanks to the Tab Touch app.
We're contractually obliged to continue this segment going, despite
it's
the
changed.
absolute putrid filth we've been tossing out there.
The sponsorships changed from the Tab Touch people to the Gamble Responsibly helpline because we're more of an advertisement for them than we are.
1-800-858-858.
That's the number.
What have you got for us, Robbo?
I'm taking another swing. Jacko's led me astray the past couple of weeks, but I'm taking another swing. So I'm taking Brisbane to beat Sydney. The Dogs will get past North. I think Freo will get it done on the road against the Giants. And then my absolute sure thing of the weekend, which I'm multing in, Carlton Gold Coast to be under 160, the total. It's going under. Get on under. That one I know for sure. That's paying $5.20.
What are you talking about, mate? Sun's going to go bananas.
No, and Carlton's going to kick 7 goals, 19.
Is that contract moved? The Harry Mackay
61
contract?
or whatever
It's not movable, right? Just adding a little extra point in there.
It's phenomenal.
You got to eat a big chunk of 5 years of the deal yourself to get it out.
I mean long-term contracts. They make sense.
Yeah, they're too.
Why not add more years?
Everyone.
Why not?
Wow, you do need to sleep.
And we just throw we'll throw an ACL in there somewhere in his 7 years, and then we just pay $1 million for that too.
You still got the last couple of years of your contract, don't you?
Oh yeah. No, don't. Where's Jack Redden? He's probably getting paid still.
What are you going with?
I'm trying to keep it. I'm going Port with an 11.5 head start against Geelong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which I'm pretty confident in that one.
Yep, sure.
And then Sydney to get within 27.5 of Brisbane, which is my more marginal one, but I had to get some value somewhere.
Yep.
I still reckon they're not getting blown out a hell of a lot.
Is that in Sydney?
No, it's at the Gabba.
Okay.
So I don't think they're going to win, but I think they can get within
Just
that.
hang around.
They're going to hang around enough.
Don't mind it.
Coming together, that's $3.61. That was Hardball Bets, brought to you by Tab Touch. Got the touch this AFL season. Choose Tab Touch. Better your bet with Tab Touch. Gamble responsibly. Call Gamblers Help on 1-800-858-858. Just before we go, Zave's not comfortable just keeping us waiting to record on a Monday. He also
This sounds like I've heard this before. This is not a rerun, is it? Because you buggered it the first time?
I don't think I buggered it. Everyone jumped in on me. Anyway, mate, this is live podcasting.
No wonder you got the arse from your job and you're now streaming.
7 o'clock on 7 Mate and 7 Plus on a Monday night. Mad Monday. Let's roll into the promo and we'll see you next time.
Every Monday's Mad Monday. Join me, Xavier Ellis, and Mick Barlow for the weekend's biggest stories in the AFL. The hardest hits, perfect plays, and controversial calls. Mad Monday, 7 o'clock on 7 Mate.
This has been the Hardball Gets AFL show, proudly brought to you by the Mazda BT50. You do ute. See you next time.